New testimony next week in the Benghazi investigation when the co-author of the State Department audit meets with congressional investigators behind closed doors. Now, Democrats indicated they've got a game plan, or they got to get one at least, in place when Ambassador Thomas Pickering appears, saying that they're wary of a Republican trap. Well, KT McFarland joins us, Fox News national security analyst, and was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for President Ronald Reagan. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Pickering's assignment was a small and narrow part of this whole sordid affair and tragic affair. And it was almost irrelevant. So was this so-called big investigation by Pickering and Admiral Mullins really just a subterfuge?
Yeah, you know, here's Benghazi, okay? Pickering was asked to look at this part of it, which is why was there adequate and why not adequate security before the attack?
We know the answer to that.
There obviously was not adequate security before people died, all right? But what about the rest of Benghazi? Why was there no rescue mission? Why have we not gotten the people that we know attacked our own? He never looked into that stuff.
One of the main questions is gotta be, and it still is unanswered 8 months hence, who ordered the stand down?
Yeah, and there will be a paper trail for this. The military, I talked to one of the senior combatant commanders and said, if one of the embassies in your region had been attacked, what would happen? And he said, well, we all have plans on the shelves to do rescue missions. So in other words, there probably was a plan. We know from testimony that there was a Lieutenant Colonel Gibson at Tripoli who was told to stand down. That stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. There is a paper trail. The military doesn't do anything without authorization. I want to find out who was at the top of that paper trail and who made the decision to stand down.
We don't even know the names of some of the people who were there, who were being targeted, who were being attacked.
That's exactly right.
How can that be?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, they're told, and we now think that there's a certain amount of intimidation to those people saying, if you talk, that's the end of your career.
By the administration.
By the administration. No proof of that, but there's a lot of press rumors. The other thing is, if you take that oath of office, you promise not to reveal classified information or you lose your job. So there's an incentive not to talk. Now, what will happen? I mean, I was in the White House during Watergate. These things have a progression. There'll be congressional committee hearings. There'll be immunity given. The people who will be called to testify will be mid-level people. They're going to all have to hire their own attorneys on their own dime. And so they will come out, say the truth, and implicate.
You know, there's a paper trail for everything.
You bet there is.
Isn't there?
Yep.
I mean, maybe it wasn't that way during Watergate, 30, 40 years ago.
There were tapes during Watergate.
Yeah,
White House,
of course.
Nixon tapes.
Yeah, one wonders why he didn't throw them in the fireplace and light them out.
That, yeah.
But now, I mean, eventually, even though it may be drip, 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 the paper trail will prove what happened.
The paper trail will prove what happened. And I think the thing I want to watch now is, do the congressional committees after the Pickering hearings next week, will they go to another level? Will they start asking, for example, the former head of the CIA, David Petraeus, what did you know about that night? Why didn't they rescue? And to me, the most important one, General Carter Ham, who was head of the African Command. Did you give that order? Who told you to give that order?
And don't you want to know where the president was during all of this?
Look, in my experience, the President of the United States, when he said to the Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff after being informed of the Benghazi attack ongoing, said, you guys handle it, do what you have to do, let me know when it's over, use your own judgment. When he made that decision, he said no rescue, because no Secretary of Defense or Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is going to commit American troops without the President.
That's American soil under attack. Our embassies and consulate are American soil on foreign property. And you've got an American ambassador whose life is in the end, taken along with 3 other Americans, and the President is not in the Situation Room. He's not monitoring this thing. Does that seem odd to you?
Every administration I've been part of, and even those I've not been part of, within 15 minutes there would have been a task force formed within the White House Situation Room where I used to work, and there would have been representatives from all the valid agencies, and the intelligence would have been going into one place.
And the President would be there.
The President would be there, his National Security Advisor would be there, and the Secretary of State and Defense and the head of the CIA would have been on the phone.
Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it.
We will get to the bottom of it.
KT McFarland, thanks very much. Heather?